Hi, it's Tracy here from Tracy's Creative Place, and last week I made a couple of pretty gift bags and I showed them on the internet, and I've had quite a few people ask me how I've made them. Now, they're not my design, well, the actual finish of them is my design, but the idea of them came from a lady on the internet called Intertwin Designs, and she does so many fabulous boxes and gift bags and all kinds of things. So check her out on the internet, on YouTube. She's really good. So to make these bags, you need 2 pieces of cardstock that measure 11 inches by 8 inches. And you also need 2 pieces of cardstock that measure 4 inches by 8 inches. Okay. You will also need, for the handles, 2 pieces of cardstock that, obviously, because you need 2 handles. So it's 1 inch by 11 inches. Now, you can make them as wide as you like or as thin as you like. It's totally up to you, but it has to be 11 inches long. Okay, so now we bring in the scoreboard and we take the 8 by 11 cardstock and we score it from, we put the 11 inch across the top and we score it from 2 inches down and 8 inches down, and we do that on both pieces. The other piece I've got ready already cut out and things. So you turn it now so that the score that you've done at 2 inches is sitting at the top, and you score it at 1 inch, but only down to where that other score line is, the 2 inch score line, and you score it at 7 inches. Okay, and you do that on both pieces of cardstock. Now we move on to the 4 by 8, and what we do with this one is we put it so that the 4 inches is across the top, and we score it down, right down top to bottom at 1/2 inch and at 3.5 inches, right down to the bottom on both of them. Then we turn it so that the 8 inches across the top, and we score it at 2 inches right down. Okay. So while this is on here now, put it on so that the 2 inch score is at the bottom. The 2 inch score is at the bottom. And then put your finger on the 4.5 inch on the left hand side and score this down at 2 inches until it meets up roughly with your finger. So you're just scoring it from 2 inches right down to where your finger is there. If you really want to, you can put a little mark with a pencil like I did on this one. I'll lift it up and show you. It's just there. And you can score it down. And you do that with both 4 by 8 pieces of cardstock. Okay, so you don't need the scoreboard again. So here's the 2 pieces. And what you do is you get your scissors and you cut off both sides and mitre. I'll just cut that a little bit neater. There we are. So it now looks like this. So you've got your 2 inch score there, and where it met up with the sides, you take that off. And this will become the sides of your bag. But what we need to do is score in some lines. So we scored down to the 4.5 there. So if you put your ruler on there and take it to the corner, take yourself a score tool, a ball tool, and run your ball tool from that dot down to the corner a few times just to score it, and from the other side too, from that dot down to the corner, and you do that on both pieces, from that dot down to the corner and again on the other side. And then what you need to do is fold and burnish all these score lines that you've done. So that's that one, that's the 2 sides done, and the same with this one. Now these fancy scores that you've put in here. Let me angle them so you can see them. Now you can see where they're going. Okay, this top one, you kind of bend so it's facing downwards, and the same with the sides. You don't have to totally crease them. This is just giving the bag a little place to go. The bag sides a little place to go when you put them on. You just have to sort of introduce them creases into it. Okay, so you can put them to one side now. And then this is the big one that we scored. You can see score lines just about there and there. Okay, so what we need to do now is take out them corners. Take that one out. Don't worry if you don't cut it so really tight and neat here. It's okay. You can straighten it up in a minute. So we have taken out just the two corners there. So introduce that fold in, and also introduce the bottom fold in. I find it easier to do it this way because with it being plain cardstock, you can't really see. Excuse my extremely messy mat. But then what you need to do is line a ruler up at that top edge and right where that score line is at the bottom, and we're going to take off. If you're not very good with a craft knife or a pair of scissors, you can line it up on your trimmer and do it that way. Again, where the fold is there, lay your ruler on and lay your ruler on to where that top edge meets there. So we have that shape. And you do that on both of those 8 by 11 panels. Okay, so take it off. And then make sure you line the corners up and take it off. There we are. You probably need a sharper blade than I have there. So we can now remove the mess and we can really put them scores in. Right, at this point now, you have to decide, I think, what you're going to do with your bag, decorating wise. Now, you could just put a piece of paper on there. It works just about right, 6 by 6 size. You might have to just take a little slither of either side. But for this one, I'm going to keep this bag plain. But using your 6 by 6 papers is really good because most people have got 6 by 6 papers. So my cardstock is got a little linen touch to it. So I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to bring in these sides. I'm just going to work on one for now. Okay. Easiest way to do this for me is glue because it gives you some time to move it about. So if you put some glue on the base, make sure you go right up to the edges. Okay, and now all you're going to do is attach it so that these sides, the folds are facing inwards, and you're going to attach it on the bottom by lining it up right along that edge. There, okay. If you find you've overshot or you've overcut, or then just lift it up and miter the edge. In fact, it may be an easier way to do it, is just to miter the edge in like that. Okay, there we go. One side in. I'll show you what I mean by mitering the edge. We just take off a slither either side. There we go. So we need this to be glued onto there now. So away we go with this one. Line it up at the edge. Press it down. There we are. And as you can see, it looks a little neater there. As long as your bag still folds up, then that's absolutely fine. All this is about to be covered now anyway, all this mess here. So now you bring in your second side. And also when you're cutting these out, you can do these two sides a different colour or a different cardstock or whatever you want from the sides, because then it'll make a bag. I'll show you in a minute a couple of finished bags and you'll see what I mean about having a different colour on the sides than on the bag. Okay, so lay it down, line it up, press it down, and then all that mess inside is all covered up. Okay, so how to attach the back. I found it easier to do one side at a time, as in do both the back panels and then turn it around and do both the front panels. So I'm going to put some glue along there and some glue along this edge, and then I'm simply going to lift up the side. I hope you can all see this. If I turn it this way, maybe you can see it better. And what I'm doing is putting this against that flush. Okay, so I'm looking at this and this to line it up right along that crease. You can push it with your finger. Any of this glue that's oozing out of the side will dry clear. It's Pinflair bookbinding glue, and it's really good. It does dry clear. And then turn it round so that you can see on camera, and line that side up as well. Okay, once you've lined it up, give it a good press inside, and then you can turn it round and work on this side. Okay, so again, glue the panels. You can be a little more careful than me when you're doing this at home. Okay, and lay it down again. And gently slide it into place. Turn it round. And gently slide it into place. You want those edges to be nice and neat. You can always have a look at it from the front if you prefer to hold it up and do it that way. So you can make sure that it's really neat along the side. Also helps if you put the creases in really well. There we are. Okay. This one just doesn't want to stick. I'll hold it for a little while longer. There we go. So at this point, I like to get a corner rounded in and round the corners. I just think it makes the bag look a lot neater. Okay. So from here now, there's several ways that you can change this bag. So I will show you. You can have it so that the top is like that. It's just sort of creased backwards on itself, and it's done like that. Or you can have it so that the top of the bag folds in on itself flat like that. So that gives a different look again to the bag. Or you can have it a third way, like this one, whereby you fold back the panels there and then put the handles on the top. Now, I quite like this one. It gives I don't know, I think it's quite trendy looking. So, as you can see, the cardstock that I used was one-sided. It was stripy on one side and it was white on the inside. And I used separate different coloured panels on the sides, black and white. So there's quite a lot of variations you can do. For this one, I'm just going to glue these panels down. I'm just going to pop them down flat with the glue because I quite like that little small bag. And I'm not being terribly careful with the glue at the moment because I am not wanting to spend all night doing this. So here we go. we've got some handles. These are the handles, and all I've done is added a button. You can use card candy, gems, flowers, whatever you like. And I've rounded the corners, but I do find putting these handles on, it's much easier if you do it with a bit of hot glue. So, a bit of hot glue on, hold the bag handle in place. Same here, and now you can line it up roughly by eye, putting it on. I've also scored in 1 inch from the edge. I'll show you on this side. There. So I have changed the handle slightly on this one to do it that way up, just as a variant. And I think the reason why I wanted to show you it, and I know it's pink, but if you do it this way, then you could do it, this one, in sort of red and put a black belt round it, and it could be like Santa's trousers. So also a nice thing to do is to pop, if I can find my glue, that is, there it is. Pop a nice strip of white in underneath there. And I've made a paper bow to pop on there too. There we are. So there's another way of doing it, changing the handles. So there's 1, 2, they're all the same measurements, 3, 4 different ones that you can choose from. Like I said, there's so many ways to decorate it. And there is also, if you work it out, actually on into twin designs, there's a little dinky one as well, which is really cute. And this one, I put magnets on the top to keep it together. But I think you can probably fit a nice little gift in there. I'll just put these two side by side so you can see the difference in size. This one will probably fit 2 or 3 nail varnishes in. This one, I think you could fit quite a decent gift inside there. So that's it. I hope you have a go, and if you do, pop them on Crafty Lane here, so that, or tag me in them on Facebook so I can see what you made. Okay, thanks a lot. Enjoy. Bye.